Hello, Internet, and welcome to I don't even know what I'm doing anymore, but I just wanted to go through comics, talk about what's been up, because I haven't really been doing videos because I haven't been feeling it. Yeah. It's been wonky because I haven't been getting to the shop as much, and some of that's been up in the air. Also, my glasses are, off. Because I was learning to get out of chokehold tonight, and it wasn't kind to the glasses. So I've been reading stuff. I think I've pretty much settled on where I'm going to be on DC Rebirth for a while. So you'll see them there, but I'm going to be dropping Green Arrow and Constantine, Hellblazer, whatever they're calling it. Not that they're bad books, but of the ones I was getting, they were the least intriguing for me. So, yeah. But I want to go through it. One book I won't be talking about that I am getting is Superman. Part of the reason is because I asked for it multiple times on my poll, and they didn't pull it, so I'm actually like 10 issues behind. Not 10, 5. Let's see here, 5 to 11, so wasn't far off. Yeah. So I'm just gonna go through some stuff, ramble off stuff. Maybe not go through as much as I don't know. This is gonna be a long one. So hey, I did start picking up Jessica Jones. I think it's a really interesting book. It is definitely mired in some of the Marvel stuff, playing off of what happened in Civil War II, and Jessica's like hiding the baby from Luke, and I think that's weird. I feel like I missed some part of Alias or something, but this is an interesting book. It's obvious that it was brought back because of the popularity of the show, but we're getting the original creators setting it, within current stuff in Marvel, so it's hard to knock down. I'm enjoying it. We'll see if it keeps going that way, but I think it's a decent book. I did pick up Mortar Girl #1. I think it's the first Terry Moore in years that I'm not going to be following the issues of. I wasn't particularly wowed with it, and because of some insider baseball, I know a local artist who has a book with a gorilla and a motor chick, and it is kind of a different thing, but there's enough matter there. Oil Can Drive, there's some stuff going on. I don't know. Too much weirdness, and I feel weird picking it up, so I'm not gonna. Also, this has to be the weakest opening to a Terry Moore comic ever. So, I don't know. I think I'll do without and maybe look for some indie to replace or just be happy with other stuff. Deadly Class is moving on, and the way that they're playing it now with the characters is interesting. I actually kind of hope they get back to the Assassin School stuff a bit more, but we'll see. Saga continues, and man, I don't know what to say about Saga. They definitely have been playing on the heartstrings a little more, but I think they've found a better balance between some of the family and sci-fi stuff. They did for a while, even though I loved it all the way. Bringing in more characters, I think, actually finally rounded out the cast to the point where they have enough irons in the fire that they can pull the balance off correctly and ignore characters when they don't necessarily need to be there. Paper Girls is finally getting to the full crazy sci-fi side that it's been building to. I'm really curious about the scale of what this comic's supposed to do, because at this point I could see it wrapping up in a few issues or going for a while, because it's definitely been a slow burn, but now that we're moving, I'm definitely enjoying it, but I could also see, you know, if it ran a little too long, it would run a little too long. But with these creators, doubtful. Um, Shredder 23, this book's winding down. I don't know, I'm going to finish it out at this point. No doubt there. Oh my god. Guys, Turtles 64. Turtles 64. We've been building to 64 since 51. I don't know if this is going to be considered a landmark issue by many, but the cover encapsulates the emotion so well. This was a heartbreaker, but it had heart at the same time. This what's been going on with Splinter, and I think of all the Ninja Turtles that I've ingested throughout my life, all the different stories, this story hits something with Yoshi, with Splinter, that makes so much sense to the character, but I don't think has ever been explored before. And that's really exciting, A, because this is a great story beat, a great story moment. It's also the first time in this Ninja Turtles run that I feel like we're breaking on solely new ground and not just the emergence of all the different elements coming together and kind of just getting that blender feeling, where sometimes things felt new, but it was just because you're kind of mixing elements that hadn't been mixed before and playing that out, kind of letting it write itself in a way. This was a very true, earned turn in the book. And this is going to sound weird, but the only other book right now that I feel has the emotional weight and the characters set up, but without the legacy issue that like Marvel and DC has right now, the only other book I can see pulling off an emotional twist like this right now is Deadly Class. So, yeah, I don't know. Chew 59, Chew 60 is coming. That better be in my poll, otherwise I'm going to be pissed. And Chew's been a crazy ride. At this point, there's not much point in saying anything. Like, you didn't read Chew, go read Chew. Yeah, there's Paper Girls. This is an older one. Oh! Here we go. This issue of Nightwing blew me away. This was the turning point for Nightwing for me. Issue 9. God, I feel like an old man. It's because they don't fit right. So, issue 9, we have Nightwing talk to Superman, which is really big because the whole reason why I was named Nightwing was because of Superman lore and whatnot. And actually showing him having this in-depth talk with one of the big boys that isn't Batman is really invigorating, because it does kind of speak to the fact that Dick Grayson's supposed to be this character his own. He's not just in the shadow of Batman. In a lot of ways, he hasn't been forever. And man, did I love this one. In this one, he gets the drop for Bloodhaven. He's going to be going there, and I am excited about that. That's where I like Nightwing. I like him having his own place, his own thing to do. It makes for a better book, and what it's been so far has been so in the shadow of Batman and playing with this Raptor thing. Interesting, but I feel like 8 issues was too long for that. That should have been a 6-issue story at most and done and move on. And so this issue feels like a real turning point. I can't find the trade right now, but I did also, by Seeley, go read the first trade of Reanimator. You know, that book he did, Revival. And it's interesting. I don't necessarily get why they call it a noir, but it's an interesting, rural, weird, sci-fi, crime-ish book thing, and I like it. There's been a few cues where I see King's writing comics in a way that doesn't really hold up. Like, there's one moment where there's someone in the shadow, and they're like, Bobby, is that you? And no, it's one of them, reanimated, and you would have heard that or smelt that or something. I don't know, just there's some weird moments in the book, and I noticed that, like, Seeley's interesting, but he has some weird moments that you can do in comics that you couldn't do anywhere else, but that don't really hold up in a way. I don't know, interesting. But yeah, this issue's excellent. Green Arrow 11, they're coming back from the island. They're on an express train back to the city underwater, and then things go weird and the art changes halfway through the issue, and yeah, it's like there's a reason I'm getting rid of this book, right? Oh man, Batman 11. I don't know what to make of Batman right now. I find it interesting, but it does kind of feel like they're spinning their wheels a little bit. I'm willing to go along with it for now, but I don't know. Spider-Man's been good. They've been playing this clone thing, and they're playing at the fact that these clones need the pill that the Jackal's giving them to continue. But, also playing off the fact that there's this whole set of Spider-Verse characters going on, so there's so much spider lore right now. I'm enjoying this clone conspiracy, but if you haven't been reading Spider-Man for years now, this is such a condensed amount of stuff. I don't think it would be parsable to people who are newer to it. So I don't know. I don't know. Birds of Prey has been interesting. This is one of the books that I think is slowly finding its feet. Huntress is really striking out on her own, and we're getting Huntress retold here, which is interesting because she definitely had her place in older DC, but she didn't have a lot of time, and so kind of splitting the difference with the Huntress here and what the New 52 Huntress was is it's actually making for some interesting ground for them to cover that isn't something that's been done a million times. So I like that. Then I tried to keep up with Trinity. I tried 3 issues. It's interesting. It's fun. It's just, yeah, it's just right now with DC. If it's not A+, it's not making the cut. So it's not making the cut. Then there's my boy, Aquaman. We're building to this deluge thing, which has definitely captured my interest. I really like some of these smaller stories, though. They gave Mara her own issue, essentially, and it really fleshed her out in a way that she needed to be, because the way they're treating Mara is a bit different than she has been in the past. I think it's pretty consistent with the New 52, but they're playing on some different ends, and honestly, having read this all the way through, you know, we're 11 issues in, and that one issue, slowing down to give her more story, was really needed because a lot of things clicked the minute they did that, and I don't think many people are as familiar with her as I think DC might imagine they are, especially considering one of the more famous Aquaman runs, Peter David's, kind of pushed Mara out and brought in Dolphin, and so I think that's a factor to that, but Wonder Woman's going. I can't drop Wonder Woman. I don't know. So, and I've been enjoying it. I enjoy the modern issues. The year 1 retelling issues are significantly weaker. So I'm trying to push through, but I find it exciting on some level, and they're a quick read. Detectives moving on, but it's getting a bit painful the way that they keep playing around Tim Drake, and we know he's alive, and really, when they need to bring in Tim Drake to, you know, raise the profile of the book, they're not, and it's so much less without Tim Drake, the greatest character of this book they took out. And it's hard because they had, like, one, you know, arc, and then they took out one of the characters, so it feels like they're trying to take out the glue of the team, right? But that didn't have enough time to be established. And it's hard because even though they're doing this double shipping, and I think they're not being beholden to 6 issues, it's still usually multiple issues an arc. And it used to be, if they did 4 issues, you'd have 4 adventures or so. And so, like, establishing, glue of the team or stuff, you could do some of that because there's some movement. But with them not even being through 1, I feel like the pacing's off, and they can't do as much pacing as they'd like to because the stories are so drawn out. So, there's the Amazing Spider-Man annual with a bunch of gobbly-gookly, I don't know, and then there was a Danny Glover written back up in here, and guys, this is skippable. Very skippable. Here we get to some of the more random stuff. Action Comics has been interesting, but I feel like it's been kind of... Something about the art makes everything feel like it's in a collage or there's a memory or something, and it just doesn't have the gravitas I think it's supposed to. And playing too much with this Clark Kent Superman thing, and Clark Kent separate, and kind of get where you're going with that or don't, because it's just kind of meh at this point. They threw it in, so I've been buying it, but Deadpool Too Soon is too expensive to bother. Do not bother with this Deadpool. It is not great. There's a few decent jokes in here or whatever, but they could do better. Yeah, Hellblazer, skipping. Decent issue even, just... They're playing a lot with Swamp Thing and whatnot, and I feel like they're trying to make it the old school Vertigo book for old school fans, but it just doesn't quite measure up. Spider-Gwen has still been fun, but when the art drops off, you can tell the art drops off. And, yeah, they bring in Spider-Woman, but God, if you can even see, like, here, like, how does this get published in Marvel? It's weird to me. Turtles. Turtles universe is interesting. I thought I was going to be a little more down on it than I am, because they have this main story and then they have a split backup. But the backup's usually only a couple pages, and it's old school Larson, which if you were into Turtles in the late 90s, early 2000s, you developed a certain love for Larson no matter what. And this Turtles universe so far is really playing off the Mutanimals, what was established there, without really bringing them in yet. So I'm liking it. I'm wondering if the idea is to just kind of have this Turtles universe be the B-book for an extended amount of time now that they've run their course with doing the villains and the Turtles and then the other guys and like an April and Casey and this and that, and try to have a more established B-book where they can kind of do whatever they want anyways. So, which could be because of market forces. I need to bring this up. So, I buy my Ninja Turtles. You guys know that. I know that. You know who didn't know that? My shop. When my guy left. I've been going to Time Warp forever. But recently one of the workers there who, I used to hang out with and stuff, Garrett, took off. Got married, making a life for herself. Makes sense. But when he took off, a lot of my orders started going wonky. Turtles being the key one. Like, they bring them my main Turtles book, but saying I want the B Turtles book really confused them, especially because there's Turtles, whatever other Turtles book, which is what I'm saying is the B book, because, every 4 months, so far, it's changed. But there's also the Turtles animated, and so they get confused by this, and it really shouldn't be that hard. It's like, get me the other mainline Mirage Turtles book, but if you're not reading it, I guess I can see where it'd be hard to know, and it's changing all the time. But on the other hand, it's not the animated one. That's the same one every month, TMNT, Adventures, and that's the one I don't want. So Yeah, and so I've had to go back and forth with this a number of times already, and Superman didn't get picked up, and Aquaman was pulled off my list, and a couple other books were put on, even though I never asked for them, and so it's been kind of a crap. And I don't know how it works at other people's shops. When I got my pull here, it doesn't have the benefits a lot of other people's do, and I had to sign like a contract, not like just a piece of paper, for some formal understanding. So if you like fucked off and they were ordering books for you, so they could still charge you, have some legal means for that. Like, I get that, but like, it was very much like, if I pull a book off, it's 2 months in advance, and do all this other stuff. But they play it really loosey goosey to the point where I can't take that seriously anymore. Like, if they want me to take that pull that seriously, or it's gotten to the point when I pull a book off, I'll put it back on the shelf. I know I'm not supposed to, but there's been so much back and forth, and me having like special order books that were missed sometimes because it's like number 4 of a mini, and I forget about it. I go back to read it, and it's not there. That's ridiculous. So I don't know. I've been really considering switching shops, but I'm sure, like you guys know, like, I've been going to Time Warp for like a decade now straight since I got back from college. It's been like a decade. Me going every week pretty much, and now less so because of my job and whatnot, but I'm going there regularly. They know me. But I mean, that's been my shop, and that's been my shop since I was 8 years old. Earlier, technically, but there's a shop close to where I work that I like, and I like the guys there a lot too, and a few of them know me when I walk in anyways. And I'd get better discounts. It would actually be easier to throw on another book or something, because with the savings, I think it would cover another book a month easy. It kind of depends on how things break down. So I've been considering it, but it's so hard. It feels like breaking up, I don't want to go there with that. I don't know. So, yeah, on with the books. So Afterlife with Archie 10 came out a while ago, guys. I was told that this, this issue, it's going to be regular for a while. No, I think we're going to be getting our 1 or 2 issues a year, and fine, good. I enjoyed it. I enjoy all of them, and I'll take them when they come out, and I'd much rather make sure everyone was good at this point than worry about getting them in any regular schedule. It's on my pull, and they bother me to pull it out, so what do I got to worry about? God, oh wow. Hold this pile. Tokyo Ghost ended, and it was fantastic. I feel like I pulled out an older pile. I'm sorry. Oh yeah, guys. The Batman Turtle Adventures, playing off the cartoon series almost of both of them. It's a nifty book. It's fun. It's nifty. Yeah. Oh my god. So, the other book I can think of off the top of my head is SpiderMan Deadpool. That's been excellent when Joe Kelly's writing it, but when you get Penn Jillette writing it for some reason, it's garbage. Yeah. So, yeah, keep reading comics, guys. I've been reading comics, and I've been reading a few trades here or there. I just haven't been as good about my weekly pull. It's just not... It's not as engaging for me right now as, like, sitting down and actually reading something. So, I don't know. But, I was talking to Running with Comics and Dr. Monkeybot, hopefully to talk about this book at some point, but it sounds like they're focused on doing their Why the Last Man talks, which means, when were they joking about 3 years might get done? So, we'll see. But, would like to talk this book with them, or if someone else is interested, super interested. Yeah, guys, comics. Who wants to talk comics? I recently found through the community, Rez Reads. She has some awesome thoughts on comics and is more in the vein of what I'm interested in, and how people talk about it. But she's doing something really interesting right now where she's trying to do a podcast, which I think makes more sense than this. But the problem is YouTube works well enough where I can just kind of record something, put it up, and it works and it reaches some people. I don't... Podcasts you almost have to click to, like, I know there's RSS feeds and whatnot, but it's 2016, who uses an RSS feed anymore? I don't know that it's going to, like, get to people, and I don't know, I feel like there's some secret about podcasting I just don't know to make it work. I feel like doing a solo podcast seems crazy. But it's not really much different than this, right? Except you just hear my silky voice. You wouldn't get this action right here. So, I don't know. If you guys think that would be interesting, if some of you guys know some other people, like I know Longbox Reviews, Eric does it, and others, I've heard about it. That's a world I'm interested in, but I don't know if I could do it there. I mean, the gash truth is, like, if I took this and just pulled out the audio, how different would it be? And maybe it would force me to do something better, because I wouldn't be crutching on, like, can you guys see this, and force myself to explain it better, which I think makes more sense. I don't know. If any of you guys made it this far, let me know. Let's talk comics. Well, this was horrible. Maybe I'll look at making something better in the future. I don't know. Have a good one.